we know that body image or image is an important thread in her box. And we just pull at it, and mom taught her a value. Is that a bad bucket item in Jennifer's case or a good bucket item?
It's a bad bucket.
Why is it a bad?
Because her mentality is surrounded by that. I have to.
Wrong. Your judgment.
That's a judgment.
Oh shit.
That's your judgment. It's not bad. She has no problem flaunting her beauty. We have to be very, very careful of that. That we put something in a bad bucket that the client has no problem. Because then you're going to redirect your whole focus of therapy onto something that they don't have an issue with. But it's your shit. So you have to look at that value system. And that's your origin story with your virgin mother.
Yeah.
Who's not a virgin. And we all know it. Sluttier than Mary Magdalene herself. Okay? But that value system, and she has a problem with that. That's in her bad bucket. Okay? So you have to identify with the client whether or not that is an issue or if it's your judgment. Excellent example. Okay, so let's go back to the triad. So who knows the steps?
Person, place, time, or situation equals parents.
Person, place, not time.
Thing.
Thing or situation equals your parents. Okay, great. Okay, but what's step 2 that you're going to ask the client? These are the order that you're going to do it with the client. D, 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 D.
We create everything.
That's the significance of it, but what's the question?
What don't you like?
Yes, what don't you like about person, place, thing, or situation? Why are you asking what don't you like?
Because it's a shadow.
It's a mirror. It's an absolute mirror. Thank you. Okay? It's a mirror. So that's why oftentimes, going back to astrology, the sign that is our earth sign is one of our parents, is somebody we don't like. I got really lucky that my work mom is a Virgo and maybe a double Virgo, but my brother, my father are Virgos. My brother and I can't be further apart from the liberal conservative spectrum. We are so different.
My son's a Virgo.
Okay? So she has to look at Scorpio things, and you have to look at Capricorn things. So that's one of the reasons why knowing your opposite sign or your earth sign tells you what you don't like. But it's very common that your client's parents will be that sign. Very common. Okay? Wow. You ask, yeah. Okay, a mirror. And why do we care that everyone's a mirror or everything's a mirror?
Because of things you don't like about others and the things you don't like about yourself.
Exactly, and we call this the what? The shadow. Okay. So the mirror allows us to see our shadow, or what we'll discover becomes the bad bucket. You're absolutely right. Okay. Number 3.
Why did you create it?
Why did you create it? The other way to ask this is the hardest one, and maybe I'll perfect it.
It's a tricky question. You're like,
Right, because you have to have a certain belief system. So another way is, what need does it fulfill because why are we fulfilling a need with our origin story? What need are we fulfilling? Our Costco card. You're a member! Member! I belong! If you don't assume the role that you were handed for your play, your little bit playbill, then you don't have a part in the play. And all of us need a part in some play. We oftentimes will leave the family of origin, bless you, and find a new family. And often, I think there's a quote that says, your friends are the family you pick, you choose, or something like that. But, so there's a thread there. Family is more important than friends. Just with that. You saw that, right? There's a thread. There's only a certain number of threads. There's only a certain number. That's why there's 12 archetypes and there's 12 signs. And there's only a certain number. It's not like you're going to have a gazillion threads. And people are going to come with the same buckets and the same issues. And most likely you're going to get the same client over and over again because it's what? Your issue. So you're going to get the same one of worthlessness, you're going to get the same one of intelligence, you're going to get the same one over and over, financial, in 100 different bodies and faces.
And that's why you always run into people that are going through like the same things, even strangers on the street, and you're like, what? It's a coincidence, it's not a coincidence.
No coincidence. Right, and you call that synchronicity. Okay, so Freud and you wrote about that. Okay, so what need does it fulfill? Why would I say what need does it fulfill? What do we know about needs?
You're fulfilling your parents' needs?
You're fulfilling your parents' needs. Thank you. Yes. When you were born, you said, oh brother, what must I do to fulfill these crazy people's needs? And what happened to your needs, Paula?
They were fucked.
They were never met. They were absolutely fucked. They were chucked in a bucket and no one gave a shit. And that's why we have a ball on our head filled with shit because our needs were never met. So we're going around the world trying, like Chiron. Remember Chiron trying to heal everyone? Can you meet my needs? Can you meet my needs? Can you meet my needs? And that's all we're doing. Okay? So that's why what need does it fulfill for you to create this situation or this person or this scenario, whatever, is another way to phrase it. Is that better for you? Okay. I think that's what I put in the book, but I'm not sure. When I get it back, I'll reread it and then edit it if needed. Okay? So what step is this? What is this section called? Well, you're talking about awareness, but what is this first? Yes, child.
Child.
Yes. What number is it?
0 to 7.
What symbol?
Triangle.
What does it represent?
Mother, father, and child.
Okay, and what else? Divinity.
Change. No.
And you know that a shock is coming. Here's the chaos. That is why they had to create it. So you can redirect your client. You can spend a whole session on just this question. Trust me, I've done it. Hell, I've spent a whole session just on parents. I mean, that's a whole year's worth.
Yeah.
But no, I mean on that step. On that step. So there's no rush. And you'll see I talked about the trans-theoretical model of behavior change that we talked about before that has the 5 circles. And minimum 6 months in a stage most times. But sometimes people can be in one stage, a pre-contemplation stage, for years and never even be aware that they have an issue. It's the same thing. So this isn't like you have to get through every single one in one session. You can spend time because you're creating awareness and you're bringing up conversation and you're talking and you're seeing the conception story. Okay, so these questions will help guide you. So this is where you get them to have awareness. This is the first of the Band-Aid. Adult. What number?
4.
What does it mean?
Define the need must be measured.
What was that?
Validation.
Validation, yeah. Prove them right.
No, don't tell me this. What were you saying, Zulily?
Define the need must be measurable.
Oh, yeah, but first, what does number 4 mean?
Right there.
Okay, so now we have the stability or the new rules, right? And what step is new rules, or what step is rule book? So isn't it incorporated?
Yes.
This is what the person must do. They must hold themselves what? Accountable. There is no adult without accountability. That's a bullshit. If you think you're an adult, you must be held accountable. If not, you are not an adult. So for those of you that are 45, if you don't hold yourself accountable, then you're not an adult. Okay. What's step 4?
What need do you have to create this?
No, that's 3.
Define the need, right?
Yes, define the need. Why do we have to define the need? And when you hear yesterday's lecture, you're going to get more information about definitions, but I've talked to you about this. What do definitions give? What? Okay, validity is not a bad answer, but elaborate on that. Validity to whom?
To your parents, like to prove them wrong. But to
No, think of the therapeutic session. You're having your client define the need. They have a need to be noticed. They have a need to take care of someone else's kids.
So they can do it?
No, definition. Why do we need them to define it?
So that they can have a better understanding of what their need is.
Okay, and how do we define a need?
Measure.
Yes, what do we call that? How do we define things? It has to be measurable, that's one component. What are the other 4? Aniela wants to be the blankest girl in the room.
Oh, the smart?
Yes, the smart. The smart. Okay, smart. Your need, specific, measurable, this is the most important, achievable or attainable, realistic, and timely. So, who wants to be rich? Everybody wants to be rich except Marcia. We've learned that Marcia does not want to be rich. And what do I say to that?
And happiness and love, yes. But
Wait a minute. What do I say to Marcia not wanting to be rich?
Bullshit.
That's my response all the time. Bullshit. Why is it bullshit?
We want it all.
No, it's bullshit because there is a definition of rich that suits her. And it's different than yours and it's different from mine. If we're speaking financially, I might say $1 million is enough, but you might say 20 million isn't enough. It's all going to come back to your origin story, isn't it? If you were born a gazillionaire and lived on a yacht and 20 million, are you kidding? That's chump change. And here I am like, where $500 is great. Oh, good. You know, yay, we can go buy cupcakes. You know? I mean, it's all relative. So Marcia does have a definition of rich.
yeah.
It just may not be financially oriented. That's okay. We must get the client to define the need that they brought up here. Because this is the unmet need. That's the need their parents never met. That's their whole thread. That is why they keep creating skinny cow situations. Simply to get this need met, and there's only a certain amount of needs. What are the 4 basic needs I told you? In my model.
Security, safety.
Safety.
Security.
Okay, safety and security.
Yeah.
Protection.
Love and validation.
Validation and love. If nothing else, find where it fits into those 4 and ask them. Did you create it for this, 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 and this? upset with that. So this is the unmet need that the parents did not meet. This is their Costco card, not their Nordstrom's card. What's 5?
Oh, love.
No, not step 5.
How can you meet?
How can you meet what? The
How can you
need.
fulfill the need for it?
How can you meet the need by yourself? Yes. How can you fulfill? Why do I say by yourself?
Because sometimes people are asking other people to fulfill their needs.
All the time. That's why we don't have self-love. All the time. This is my need that I've walked my whole life around. Are you my mother? Are you my mother? Are you my mother? Are you my mother? I finally found. Are you my mother? And I call her a work mom. That is a need that I have. That need, tip, write it in your book, has directly to do with your moon sign. That's why you got to shatter it. And my moon sign is Cancer, the sign of the mother and the child. Your need, your client's need, has directly, unmet need, has directly to do with the moon sign in their chart. That's why it's the past. Does anyone know astronomically how the moon gets its light? From the sun. The moon has no light of its own. It is a shadow. That's why there's a new moon that you see nothing and a full moon that it looks big. It's just the sun giving it light. Your sun sign gives your moon sign light. We want to kill off that part in us. It's directly related to an unmet need. The moon is directly related to pregnancy.
To what?
Pregnancy.
Oh shit. I'm never gonna have sex at night then.
What?
No.
You're talking about
not
marriage?
not the actual
No.
moon. She's thinking the actual moon.
No. I mean in your birth chart. It talks about your mother
She's
and her pregnancy.
Yeah.
Okay. Trisha, Paola today.
I had
Are
it.
you guys on my planet today? I think so. There's too much earth in this room for me right now. Wait, and if you're a double Virgo, damn it, I really have to check your chart now. Okay, way too much earth. So the moon represents in the chart pregnancy. It represents the shadow, the unmet need. What do we know about pregnancy? What do we know about pregnancy?
Emotion.
What about it? Elaborate the thought. Say it fully. Don't just throw out a word for me to say it. What do we know about pregnancy? What have I taught you?
Whatever happens while you're pregnant carries over to the child.
Okay, that's when they develop their emotions and their feelings, and they get their definition of what?
Love.
Of love. So they think that love is that moon sign. So if you're my work mom, or you treat me like a child, not good for transactions for me, not good for her either. Another kid she's got to take care of, but she's got to have a moon in Cancer. You have to have a moon in Cancer. Or something really strong in Cancer. Because she's just too momish. Then that's how you're going to seek love. That's how you're going to seek your unmet needs. We confuse somebody, write this down, who meets our need, or we think they do, with love. Yes. Epiphany?
Yes, we do.
So think of who you married, think of who you divorced, think of why you married them, and think of why you divorced them. Your need was being met. because you're looking for someone else to meet your need. And nobody will meet your needs except you. That is the inner circle. That's the bindi. Okay? So you must meet the need by yourself. So what happens if someone wants to spend more time with their spouse? If that's what they're coming to you about. And we're going to get into relationships. But just for the basic model. What are they really, what is their inner child really saying?
Getting attention.
Yeah.
Okay, what step does that go?
The creating.
What did I teach you about the inner child dialogue? What your inner dialogue is saying.
That's in the second step.
It's in the second step, absolutely. And whatever you don't like is what your inner child is saying, I need. So when you're saying, I want my spouse to spend more time with me, you need to spend more time with yourself. Okay? It doesn't mean that your relationship isn't valid, but I'm bringing it, this is right now the individual. Okay, 6. What's step 6? The rule book. You have your client write a rule about this. If they say that they're going to take a walk or journal in their notebooks or smoke pot, whatever it is, I don't care, 3 times a week, or 3 hours a day, or once a month, whatever it is, SMART goal, they have to write it down. Why do we have clients write something down? It's on the board. No. Why would it be important?
Stability.
To close, it's close to that.
I thought so you can show them that they can do it.
Let's use the word and then I'll elaborate on that. Why would you tell your client that they must write the rule down? Accountability. And that's one of the reasons. You did it.
Yeah, you show them and that they
You've
feel
done
good.
it, you could do it again. Behavior change. One of the things I said yesterday is that behavior change is not continuous. How many of you have gone on a diet? How many of you have gone off a diet? Everybody. Behavior change is not continuous. Very, very little. That's why at the beginning I said, when James asked, you guys remember when James asked, how do you change behavior? And I had like a 20-minute laugh attack. That's the question, right? And then when you and I were talking this weekend about it. Very little. So in the model that I talked about yesterday, the TTM, you can see this is pre-contemplation, contemplation, preparation, action, and maintenance. It continues. Because you can be in maintenance and the next day be in pre-contemplation. Oh, I just kept the 5 pounds off. I went to the wedding and screw that. I don't care so much about the diet anymore. There isn't continuity. So when you write it down, and why what you said is accurate, what I do with clients is oftentimes show them that the times that they've done it is larger than when they haven't. I did this yesterday. With different clothes on. So that's more important than necessarily the continuity, knowing that there may not be continuity in behavior change. How does a client feel when you can validate that? How would that make you feel if someone validated the fact that you at least are trying?
Good. Great.
You'd feel better about yourself. So oftentimes, all we're doing is just creating a space of empathy, of listening, awareness, going, yeah, you're right, that sucks. Anyone watch the show Atypical? Okay, it's a great show for many reasons. It's on Netflix. It's amazing. It's this, and I want to look up if the actor is really autistic.
Oh.
He's phenomenal. I don't know if he is
I started.
or not. You'll look it up? Okay. We were two Googles. Siri? So Sam is an autistic boy. He has his sister Casey and his parents Doug and Elsa. And one of the interesting things about the show, and why I think you guys should watch it, is autism, and I haven't really been around autistic children, so he's not, okay, anyway, he does a phenomenal job. He's very high functioning and stuff like that, but they still show like the demeanor, you know, the certain mannerisms. Anybody here interested in doing the ABA program? Because the ABA program, that's behavioral analysis, and you'll be working.
Right.
That's a big chunk of the population
That was
is
like
autistic.
Natalie and Jeanette, they
Right.
were in that.
Exactly, Natalie and Gillette, well, we're gonna be starting it hopefully next year. So,
In the show Parenthood,
Yes.
the boy, Max.
Max
And in
is
real
also,
life,
oh, he
supposedly
is?
yeah.
Okay,
My
So-
daughter and I looked him up because he plays it perfectly.
yeah.
And then, yeah, he is.
So Sam too, but one of the things I love about this show, and I really recommend everyone watch it, is when they have interactions with him, they validate everything he says. There's, in this new season, I binge watched it this weekend when I was going crazy sitting on a couch. There's a peer group. They're in like peer counseling at school. And you hear when one of the autistic kids in the group says something and the counselor's like, oh yeah. Like it was an off-the-wall sort of comment and she just validates it. And you hear it consistently throughout the show. And I was thinking about that this week and I was like, if we lived like that, you know, it's more genuine. If we, I don't know if it's more genuine, maybe that's not what I'm trying to say. I think it would be healthier. That's probably what I'm trying to say. Because people are at least feeling that they're heard. So there's a lot of that repetition. I'm validating you, I hear what you said, and I'm going to make a cue. But it's also about, yes, that sucks. Or,
Well, that's going away more with, you know, technology and everything, and everybody's just texting each other. There's not that much communication.
What part of technology does enforce that, though? There is a part of technology that definitely validates our emotions.
Texting.
The emojis?
The emojis. I mean, I think so. What do you guys think? I think emojis have done real good for us because you are validating.
Right, if somebody uses them.
Right,
Because
if they use them, if not, you're just not sure how that you're supposed to read it.
Like this or like that?
But, yes, definitely. But I think emojis are really good at helping us sort of validate what the other is feeling. Like yesterday, some client wrote, like she didn't need to put that emoji, but I thought it was so funny that she went to the trouble of finding them. You know, I was like, it just adds, I think, depth to what something that might appear shallow.
Yeah.
You know, and I know a lot of people have difficulty with only text. Like, I don't talk on the phone all that much until you walked in. I think you're the most person I talk on the phone with. But,
I prefer, like, if I'm going to speak to anyone, it's either in person or on, like, if you're gonna
yeah, and
talk
I'm
to
a
me,
big
it's
texter.
But
I'm a
my
big
daughter
texter.
has a problem with texting. Like, she loves texting and all that, but she has a problem with, like, some of her friends when they text. Because she'll be like, oh, I don't know, I think that sounded sarcastic, and then her friend really didn't mean it sarcastically.
Right.
She just meant it, like, okay, yeah, whatever, you know? So I think, like, the
Well, it does
emojis
let you
need
get
to
away
help
with
her.
stuff because you can say, oh, I didn't mean that. That
Yeah.
is true. Yeah, I have several friends that they don't want to text. And they will say, When you can talk, call me.
Yeah.
And weeks can pass.
No, I know a lot of people that they don't like talking to anyone except for texting. Like they will only text.
Yeah, no, I
They
like to
phone,
talk
they don't like
sometimes,
talking.
but I do like personal interaction.
Right.
I like in person too, but,
Like, I'll text her, how you feeling? And she'll go into this whole thing, and I'm like, okay, well, if you call me if you want to talk, and then she'll text